everyone. Welcome to Living and Learning in the Kitchen. Today we're going to be talking about how to make sushi, and then also I'll have some stir-fry recipes to go over with you. So welcome. Anyway, I would like to first thank our funders because without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring you these programs. So we're very grateful for all the support we get from them. And it also allows us to provide food and practical supports for our clients. So thank you so much. So before we get into the recipes, we're just going to talk about just some nutrition facts on seaweed. So to make the sushi, you need nori sheets, which is essentially seaweed. And so seaweed has some great benefits. It's really good for iodine, helping promote iodine levels in the body, just because in Ontario, we live on a it's called a goiter belt. So I don't know if you've ever seen people with goiters, like lumps on their thyroid, and that's because they're not getting enough iodine in their bodies. So we don't have a lot in our soil. So it's really important to get enough iodine in our food. So having seaweed in our food or cooking with seaweed is a really good thing to incorporate. What I do is I buy Dulse flakes, or you could even just break up the sheets of nori, or kelp as well as another form of seaweed. And I just have, when I cook like pasta or boiled potatoes or anything like that, I just put a little tea, like a little metal tea bowl, and then you can put the sheets or whatever in there, like crumple them up and put them in, and you can boil it with your food, and it just helps to get that iodine into your food. So iodine helps your thyroid function. So your thyroid is your metabolism for your body. It controls your metabolism. It also is high in protein. It can have anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-aging, antimicrobial properties. Has positive effects on your cardiovascular system as well. It also contains omega-3 fatty acids, and it's a vegan source, so it comes from like an algae. And omega-3 fatty acids are good for the brain, the skin, your nails, your immune system. And our bodies can't make it, so you have to get it from your food. So you can also get it from fish and other things like that. Some oils as well. And then it also is high in vitamins and minerals. So it's high in vitamin A, which is good for your eyesight, vitamin B2, folate, especially if you're pregnant. Folate levels are important. B12 for energy, and your blood, sorry, getting your blood pumped around your body. B12 is really helpful for that. It works in conjunction with iron. And B12 is really helpful for people who are vegan. It's also high in vitamin C and vitamin K and manganese, and also iron. So it has some great nutrients. It is, however, high in sodium. So, you don't want to overdo it, but a little bit here and there is really good for the body. So let's make sushi. So there's a few things you need. It's really good to get you can buy them on Amazon or at the Chinese food stores like T&T. But getting the sushi mats. So the bamboo ones are really good. They're just a little bit more flexible and really good for rolling. You can get some you can also get like a rice paddle, so the wooden paddle. You can get chopsticks, and then first you also need some nori sheets, so you can buy them. You can see them up here on the top right. You can get a package of them or two. Kewpie mayonnaise is really good to have with your sushi. Wasabi, if you like the spice and the heat in that. It's great for decorating afterwards or for dipping in afterwards. You also need rice vinegar, sriracha sauce, so you can combine your sriracha sauce with your Kewpie mayonnaise to make spicy mayonnaise, and also soy sauce. I always get some cling wrap and you'll see later on, but wrapping the the sushi mat so that it doesn't get all dirty. It's easier to keep it clean. And then you get some sushi rice. It's really important to get the right rice. So sushi rice, it must be cold sushi rice. And then obviously a pot and a pan for cooling it off afterwards. So those are some of the things you can need. So here's a sushi rice recipe. There's many online. This is just one that I pulled up. But it has a few ingredients that's, just helps to give it that flavor. So in this one, it's 2 cups of uncooked sushi rice, 3 cups of water, a 1/4 cup of rice vinegar, and 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of white sugar. You can do less than that if you want. It's totally up to you. You can also just taste test it and see how it is. And then a teaspoon of salt. So you want to rinse your rice in a strainer first so that it gets a lot of that glutinous, film off of it. So run it in a sieve or a colander under cold running water until the water runs clear. Combine your rice water in a saucepan, or you can put it in a rice cooker as well. And then cook it on medium heat, bring it to a boil, and then reduce the heat to low and cover it and keep the rice cooking until it's tender and all the water's been absorbed. So it's about 20 minutes. Yeah, and then take it off the stove, set it aside, and you can use a tray. I usually put parchment paper down, and then you can, lay out your rice on top of the parchment paper, and then it will cool faster. And then in another saucepan, put your rice vinegar, your oil, your sugar, and salt, and then cook that over a medium heat until all the sugar dissolves. So it doesn't take too long, and then let that cool. Oh, so I missed a step. Before you put the rice on the tray, you want to combine the rice with the liquid mixture and then put it on the tray. So sorry about that. Kind of got a bit ahead of myself there. And so here's some fillings. You literally can put whatever you like in your sushi, but vegetables like cucumber, avocado, asparagus, jalapeno if you like the heat, green onions, carrots, sprouts, lettuce, bell peppers, red or green onions, radish, and sweet potatoes. So those are some of the vegetables that work well in sushi. We'll go through some recipes too to give you some other ideas. And then other protein options, things like sushi grade salmon, tuna, you can use fresh or canned. You want to make sure if you're buying the fish, you want to make sure it's sushi grade. You can't just go to the store and buy raw sushi, raw salmon or tuna, and it's just not safe to do that. So you want to go to a proper store and get that sushi grade meat or fish. You can also use things like imitation crab, shrimp tempura. So you want to cook that first just in an air fryer. You can use tofu, and teriyaki chicken is a really good option as well for those who don't like fish. Yeah, so first of all, to make sushi, you want to make your rice with your recipe, and then you want to julienne your veggies, and that means, cut them into like 1.5 inch width slices, and then just cut them really finely into kind of like matchsticks, and then set those aside. And then, like I said before, you want to avoid the messy cleanup and scrubbing of your bamboo mat, so you can wrap it in saran wraps, which works great. It's just lay your sheet on top of the nori on top of your wrapped mat, and then you want to put the shiny side down and then spread a thin layer of rice on it, and then see at the top where there's a little, like about a 1 to 2 inch section where there's nothing. You want to leave that space clear, because that's where it'll stick once you roll it. So yeah, this is for having the rice on the inside. You can do it the opposite way, and we'll have a video in a minute where you can see that as well. So you want to line your vegetables on top. Just leave a little space at the very bottom where the rice is, like in the picture here, and then line up your veggies and your protein on top of the rice. And then, like I said before, you'll see it in the video. if you wanted the rice on the outside for a different effect, you can flip it over and put your veggies on top of your seaweed. So then first you want to do your first roll, and you want to roll it from bottom to top. So roll it over, and then you want to squeeze it so that it kind of combines it, binds it all together. And then you want to unfold the bamboo mat and repeat the process until you have rolled the rice sheet completely right up. And then you want to give it one last squeeze at the end. So once you get it rolling to the end, you want to wet your fingers and wet the end of the nori sheet where it's just free of rice, so that it will stick together to the roll. And then you want to slice and serve. So you slice it in half, and then you can create little slices from there, just however thick you want to have your sheets. So we're going to watch a video right now, and Brenda made a lovely video to share, and she's more of an expert than me. So let's take a look, and then she'll explain all the steps again in visual time. There, so from the expert. Anyway, we made them the other day and they were delicious. So here's a few other recipes just to give you an idea. So this is for salmon sushi. So you need 6 sheets of seaweed nori, a batch prepared of sushi rice, half a pound of sashimi grade raw salmon or your desired fish of choice, 4 ounces of cream cheese sliced into strips, and 1 avocado slice. So you want to slice the avocado thinly, and then soy sauce for serving. So you want to place just exactly like Brenda had showed you. So the rest of the instructions are there. And yeah, you can add other vegetables of choice as well. So just take a screenshot of the recipe if you like it, and yeah, give it a try. And the teriyaki chicken sushi rolls, I think, are my favorite, just because I'm not a really big fish person, but yeah, super yummy. So you want to, once again, prepare your sushi rice, and then get 300 grams of chicken breast or chicken thighs, and then 1.5 cups of teriyaki sauce, a small cucumber thinly sliced, and small red pepper thinly sliced, and then 4 to 6 nori sheets. So there's other options for things to serve with your sushi. So Brenda had mentioned the furikake, which you can get at the Chinese stores. And also things like pickled ginger help to cleanse the palate in between, and just give it a little bit of spice. Sesame seeds, like you saw when she did the rice on the outside, makes it kind of pretty. You can get black sesame seeds or just your white ones. And things like wasabi paste, soy sauce, and sriracha sauce. And also the Kewpie mayonnaise really is delicious as well. So yeah, so just follow the instructions like Brenda had said, and then it makes them really pretty. The most fun is when you cut them up and you get to see the creation in the middle, and then you can add all your little fixtures on top, and just drizzle them over top, and then it makes them really yummy. And then you can also do things like California sushi rolls. So, these are fairly simple. You've got your sushi rice, your avocado, your English cucumber, and then imitation crab. Um, I You don't have to boil them. They come frozen in a package. And then you just want to peel, like break them in half and then peel strips, like Brenda was doing in the video. And but you can also boil them ahead of time just to make sure that they're safe. That's what I did. Just boil them for 5 minutes and then, let them cool before you roll. Yeah, so, give those a try too. You can pretty much put anything in your sushi, like I had said. We also tried the sushi tempura, and so I just put them in the air fryer, and then when you're placing them on the roll, just make sure the tail is on the outside, or you can just break the tail off and just do a roll of them. Sometimes they're kind of short or long, and you just fit them within the width of the nori sheet and roll them up and give them a cut up, and you're ready to go. And for those people who don't like, the seaweed, you can make bowls. So you can do your sushi rice the same as you made it before, and then you can add all the little bits and bobs that you would put in the roll, but just have it in a bowl, so you don't have time to do the rolling. So you just add your protein, like your seafood, either your tuna, salmon, your crab meat, your shrimp tempura. So you can use smoked salmon or teriyaki chicken, and then you can add things like your cucumber, avocado. You could even add, like the slices of your nori sheet as well, and then put them in there if you like that flavoring. You can add things like green onions, sesame seeds, and a little bit of sesame seed oil, which gives it a really good flavor as well. And adding things again like your wasabi paste, your soy sauce, or your pickled ginger. And it just makes for a really delicious bowl, and it's super fast. You can have everything prepared ahead of time and then just make your bowls. If you have someone in the family that doesn't like a certain thing, they can create their own bowls. And I think even kids would love to create their own bowl or help with the rolling of the sushi as well. So super fun family option. And you can take pictures of this, but it's pretty self-explanatory in terms of putting together your bowl. Rice on the bottom, everything else on top. This one looks really pretty. All right, so I have a really yummy beef fried rice recipe. You can also use chicken as well or other meat. But yeah, it's just a super easy recipe. It just takes 3 eggs, 8 ounces of flank steak cubed. You can cube it or you can slice it. I prefer slice, to be fair. And, thinly sliced so it cooks fast. And then 2 medium carrots, small diced, a cup of broccoli florets broccoli cut into small florets, 3 cloves of garlic minced. You could use garlic powder if you don't have minced garlic, but it does taste better when it's fresh. 4 cups of cooked and chilled rice. You can use white or brown. Brown obviously has more fiber and is better for us in terms of our blood sugar regulation, but whatever you have on hand. 3 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, a teaspoon of sesame oil, and sesame seeds for garnish if you like. Sesame seeds are really high in calcium, so really good for your bones. Yeah, so you just want to heat a tablespoon of oil, add your eggs and scramble them until they're fully cooked. Take them and set aside after that. Add the remaining tablespoon of oil to the pan, add the steak and cook over a high heat for about 2 to 3 minutes, just until seared and caramelized on the outside. Remove from the pan and set aside. Add the carrots and broccoli to the pan and cook until they're tender, about 3 to 4 minutes. Stir in your garlic and cook for additional minute. And in the cold rice, add in the cold rice, sorry, and saute for 3 to 4 minutes, and the rice should brown up a bit and get more of that flavoring. Then add back in your eggs and your steak into the pan and stir in your soy sauce, oyster sauce, and sesame oil, and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes. The longest part of this is just prepping all the vegetables and things like that. But once you start cooking, it goes very quickly. So, to save time, you could have that done ahead of time and then just at dinner time put it all together. And then you can add your sesame seeds afterwards to garnish if you like, or you could put them on the side for those who don't like them, and everyone can sprinkle their own on. We cater to the picky. This is an easy vegetable stir fry. You need olive oil or any kind of vegetable oil, a red bell pepper sliced, a yellow bell pepper sliced, sugar snap peas if you have, a cup of carrots sliced, a cup of mushrooms sliced, 2 cups of broccoli, a cup of baby corn, always adds good flavor. And then you've got this beautiful color mix of vegetables, and it's just really pleasing to the eye, and you're getting all those nutrients with all those colors. You just can't beat anything with, those rich reds and oranges and yellows and greens. They're all so good for us, and they have so many nutrients. So, what do I usually say? Eat the rainbow. And then you need 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 3 garlic cloves minced, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon. You could use maple syrup instead if you like, or honey, as long as, you don't have any children under 1 eating that. And then a teaspoon of sesame oil, 1/2 cup of chicken broth, a tablespoon of cornstarch, and then chopped green onions and sesame seeds for garnish. Looks delicious. I'm getting hungry. So you want to add your olive oil over a medium to high heat in a wok or a large skillet. Add your bell peppers, peas, carrots, mushrooms, broccoli, and baby corn. Saute for 2 to 3 minutes until they're almost tender. And then in a small bowl, whisk together your soy sauce, garlic, brown sugar, sesame oil, chicken broth, and cornstarch, and then pour over the veggies and cook until the sauce is thickened. So the cornstarch will start to thicken it and everything will all gel together. And then garnish with your green onions and your sesame seeds if you like. And then you can serve it over rice or noodles. You can get rice noodles or even the Thai noodles. That'll be super delicious. And then this is a best and easy beef and broccoli stir fry. Pretty simple ingredients. You could also do it with chicken as well if you don't like beef. So it's once again 3 tablespoons of cornstarch for thickening, 1/2 cup of water plus 2 tablespoons of water, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. You could also use fresh if you like. A pound of boneless round steak cut into thin 3-inch strips. Sometimes you can even buy it already cut up if you don't have the time and you want to save that. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 4 cups of broccoli florets. You could also add in, do 2 and 2, like 2 of broccoli and 2 of cauliflower. That's always a good option as well. A small onion cut into wedges, or you can dice it if you prefer. 1/3 cup of reduced sodium soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon of ground ginger, and then hot cooked rice for serving. So you could use brown or white, and then toasted sesame seeds again. It's a popular thing today. So in a bowl, you want to combine your cornstarch, your water, and garlic powder, and mix it until it's smooth so it's not lumpy. Add your beef and toss it in. And then in a large skillet or a wok over medium to high heat, stir fry beef in your oil until it reaches your desired doneness. Some people don't want to cook it completely, but so you can have it, medium. And then remove and keep it warm. So just put it in a bowl and pop some tin foil over top or a paper towel. And then stir fry your onion in the remaining oil for 4 to 5 minutes until it's softened or it's translucent, so it's kind of turned see-through. Add the broccoli and cook for 3 minutes until it's tender but still crisp. And then return the beef to the pan. Combine your soy sauce, your brown sugar, ginger, and remaining tablespoon of cornstarch and a half a cup of water and blend it or mix it until smooth, and then add that to the pan. Cook and stir for 2 more minutes and serve over your rice or noodles and garnish with your sesame seeds again. I picked all the sesame seed recipes I could find. And those are, just a few stir-fry recipes. So I just wanted to add a little sweetness or just a little recipe for something for the kids or for your moms that once you make them, they're quick and easy to grab and have a good little protein snack. So they're healthy, no-bake peanut butter bliss balls. Obviously, if you have children with peanut allergies, you can use a nut butter, a sunflower seed butter. I'm not sure if some schools have a policy of not letting anything that looks like peanut butter in, but definitely a good snack for after school or for even a little breakfast snack if your kids don't like breakfast. So these are loaded with creamy peanut butter and they have a little chocolate flavoring as well. They're a hit with kids and adults. You can have them on the go, like I said, for breakfast or as a wholesome snack or a healthy dessert alternative. They're dairy-free, vegan. You can make them gluten-free if you use gluten-free oats. They're low in sugar and they're ideal for all the different dietary preferences. So it's just a cup of rolled oats. Quick oats usually are easier to chew through. The rolled oats, they're a little bit more chewy, so you can choose based on that. Half a cup of your creamy peanut butter or any other nut butter. Sometimes almond butter or cashew butter is good too. But like I said, if there's a peanut allergy, sunflower seed butter is a really great alternative. And because it's made of sunflower seeds, it's really high in calcium, so super healthy for us. And then a quarter cup of mini dark chocolate chips. And if you don't like dark ones, you can use the milk ones. And then a tablespoon of maple syrup. You can increase it to 2 tablespoons if you want more sweetness. And then a half a teaspoon of vanilla, just gives it a little bit extra. Pinch of sea salt, and then a scoop. You can add in a scoop of a vanilla protein powder. That's optional. So if you want to just amp up the protein balance there, then that's a really great way to do it. Yeah, so give those a try. And any of these recipes, I'd love to hear how they turned out. I'd love if you send me pictures of your creations. Nothing makes me happier to see, that something's helped you in some way. So yeah, please give me feedback. Here's the instructions here. So you want to add your oats, your peanut butter, chocolate chips, maple syrup, vanilla salt, and protein powder if you're using until combined. And then line a baking sheet with parchment paper just for easier cleanup and they don't stick as much. And then just take small handfuls of the mixture and roll them into little balls about 1 to 2 inches in size. You can also use a cookie scoop and then just place them on your baking sheet and refrigerate for about 30 minutes until they're solid and everything congeals. And you can store them in an airtight container in the fridge and they'll last 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how many people are in the house and who likes them. Yeah, so give those a try. Really fun thing to do with your kids if they're old enough and they can help. Even if they're not old enough to roll them, they can help put the ingredients in the bowl. When you're doing things with your kids, showing them how to cook it's a life skill. So start them young and then maybe one day they'll be old enough to make you a meal so you don't have to do it. So let me know how they go. And here's just something fun. I've shared this before, but because there's so much snow outside and, winters are long and kids get bored, it's just something really fun that they can make a little snow volcano fun. So you obviously need snow, baking soda, white vinegar, dish soap, food coloring, and a small thin tubes or bottles. So before heading out into the snow, make sure you have all your supplies ready. It's a bit of a science experiment, so the kids will want to do it again and again. And you'll need lots of baking soda and vinegar ready. So to build a volcano from snow, pile some snow into a volcano shape and secure a small tube or bottle in the center of it. Fill the tube with a drop of dish soap, lots of baking soda, and a couple of drops of food coloring. Now you have your snow volcano set up for fun, and then it begins. Take the bottle of white vinegar and squirt it into the tube filled with the baking soda. And as the vinegar reacts with the baking soda, your volcano will erupt. The dish soap makes the volcano eruptions extra foamy. And obviously the food coloring, whatever color, it just makes it super fun. Stands out in the snow. So give that a go. I hope you have lots of fun. And let's make this winter not as long for our kiddos. So that's the end of the presentation, but we're going to start having in-person cooking classes starting Friday, March 7th from 9:45 to 12. And that'll be with public health nutrition educator Heather Melrose Case and me. And we have transportation available if you need it. And to register, just contact me, Kobitowich at roseofsharon.com, or my cell phone is 289-301-9946. We're going to be making some warming winter meals. Now, hopefully come March, it'll be warming up a little bit more, but still nice to get some good recipes, some nourishing recipes that are budget friendly, and just to connect with one another and just to cook together, and then you get to eat together. So I'd love you to join us. Let me know if you'd like to participate. And I'd also just love it if you can please let me know that you've watched this and what your favorite recipe was. And if there was something that you learned today that you didn't know already. I just need to confirm that you've watched it. So if you can do that for me, that would be great. And yeah, so make sure you follow us on social media. We update Instagram all the time with different programming. We have our website, roseofsharon.com, and then also we're on Facebook, Twitter, and we also have our Parents Connect website that we're updating all the time as well, and trying to produce content to help to keep the learning alive and to support you in ways that we can. So thank you everyone for coming today.